flicker of acknowledgement, no nod of understanding. Instead, I got another question, one that sounded so absurd that I almost laughed at the glass. They asked me which country I'd come from. I didn't understand why they were asking me that, but I answered anyway that I came from Torrid. I had spoken it without hesitation, without the slightest doubt, because how could there be doubt? It was a fact as solid as the ground beneath my feet. However, no matter how trivial all of this seemed to me, the officers just kept looking at me in silence. Some more time passed, and I felt like they were expecting me to say something else, but I didn't know what. I had answered everything they asked me. My thoughts were interrupted by a policeman when he said, "Tord does not exist." I let out a short, breathless laugh, shaking my head as if I'd misheard. Surely I had misheard. "I beg your pardon?" I asked, as if I expected him to correct himself. But he didn't. Instead, he repeated his statement, slower this time, each word measured and deliberate, as if explaining something painfully obvious to a lost child. "There is no such country," he said. I blinked at him. I didn't understand what was happening or if this was some kind of joke, but judging by their expressions, it didn't seem like one. My brain demanded an explanation, but as the silence between us continued, it became clear that I wasn't going to get one. The only thing I knew at that moment was that something heavy was pressing against my chest, and it did not feel good at all. "This must be a mistake," I said finally, this time with a slightly sharper voice, hoping they would stop with their joke and let me enter the country. In panic, I started explaining that I had already been to Japan, that I had arrived at this very airport before, and that my passport had been stamped there. I advised them to check the records, telling them they would surely see it, but none of them wanted to check anything. They didn't even move. They just kept looking at me seriously. Then another figure stepped forward, a man in a higher-ranking uniform. He was the supervisor. I hoped he would solve this big misunderstanding, but my hope disappeared the moment he spoke to me and said, "Sir, we will need to verify some things."